Culver Stockton College is trying to be proactive when it comes to their students' happiness. They launched the Green Bandana Project today to address student mental health. Mackenzie Henderson is sitting down with our Charity Bell now to talk about the program and why it's needed. Mackenzie?
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. So faculty say it's in response to the increased need for mental health support in young adults across the country. So Charity, what were the students at Culver Stockton doing to help spread this message for the initiative?
Mackenzie, students were given the opportunity to take one of these green bandanas to tie to their backpacks. It's to signal to other students that they matter and their support when it comes to mental health. Students I talked to today say it's an issue that they're dealing with and they want the help.
From a pandemic to moving away from home to further their education, Culver Stockton College students like senior Caitlin Felt say they're faced with challenges that can be hard to deal with.
It's just dealing with those issues that happened during COVID, and then just like adapting to them can be kind of hard after the pandemic.
More than 65 people heard the pleas of students across the country during a Green Bandana Project presentation and were given a call to action.
The Bandana Project basically is a nationwide suicide prevention resource for the students. Basically, the students wear green bandanas and tie them around their book bags, signifying that they're a mental health advocate for their peers.
CSC Counseling and Wellness Services Director Jill Miller says she saw 226 students last year.
I was seeing like 6 to 8 students a day.
Just in one semester.
I've seen a huge uptake in people needing services for mental health. Colleges around the country are saying the same thing. The numbers have just increased.
Miller says they've established a mental health task force to help students navigate the challenges they're facing.
Or the virtual care group, which is something new we've implemented. And yes, we partner with Blessing. Culver Stockton students can receive 5 free therapy sessions through Blessing.
Felt says seeing a need on campus inspired her to create her own club to help her peers.
It's mainly going to be about like bringing in like certain events to deal with like mental health awareness. So like some ideas were like self-care bingo or like exercise classes. I know during the meetings I want to like write notes and then place them around like campus.
Students were also given a card like this that notifies them of all the resources that are available to them.
And so what kind of resources are available to them?
24/7 access to a crisis hotline through virtual care group, free visits with Blessing Health Services, and a campus safety staff and resident assistants. And Mackenzie, there's one more final stat. About 44% of college students reported feeling anxious and depressed last year, according to Mayo Clinic.
Well, that is higher than I would have expected. Thank you so much, Charity, for that report.